Greetings and welcome back. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. However, I just wanted to let you guys know that I have some new things that are going to be available very, very soon. So I want you to keep an eye out. There's going to be some products available for people to purchase that will help you with your personal development, help you to become very confident, help you to be able to accomplish goals, help you to be able to move through mental blocks, emotional blocks, and things like that with greater power, and just things to really help to inspire you and motivate you to keep moving forward through whatever challenges you're facing. If you don't know, Mercury is retrograde right now, and we're coming up on that Jupiter and Saturn square, which I have been feeling all week. Because things are not exact, there's still a planetary buildup before those things become exact. When those squares and those different geometric shapes are made in the sky, there's always a buildup before that energy actually comes exact. And when it becomes exact, that's like the peak of the energy. And then once there's a peak, there's an unfolding of the energy that continues to persist. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Today we're going to change it up. We're going to talk about fruit today. Today we're going to be talking about figs. Figs are a very special fruit. I love figs. I love to eat them, and they actually have a lot of symbology. Um, I wanted to talk about figs because I know that we've talked about animals and we talked about letters, and we haven't talked about fruit. So I wanted to enter the fruit realm of things to help you understand that even if you're seeing repetitive names, like you might not actually see a fig, or you might not actually see an orange or whatever fruit, you might be seeing just the name of that fruit repeatedly, or somebody says it, or it comes up on your YouTube, or however it may be seen multiple times throughout a week, or throughout a day, or throughout a couple of days. That is a message that the universe is giving to you that you need to, or you should, decipher to understand what you are about to experience, how you're about to experience something, what you are in the middle of. Because sometimes when we're going through transition and change, it's really hard and tough and rough. So sometimes seeing these messages can let you know that at the end of the day, this is the result that you will receive. So figs represent prosperity, fertility. They represent enlightenment and nourishment. Nourishment is actually something I added just because figs have a ton of nutrients, and they're considered good luck, right? So if you see figs, that means you have a lot of good luck. Good luck. You have the possibility to be able to become wealthy. It also represents fertility. Figs have tons of nutrients. They have calcium, they have iron, they have potassium, they have magnesium, they have phosphorus, they have polyphenols, and etc. Other nutrients. They also help to reduce inflammation in the body. And they are actually a tree that has been cultivated for thousands of years by man, thousands and thousands of years, and has a really deep relationship with man. In Buddhism, trees were, this is Buddhism because this is a break off religion. You have to remember that, Buddha, when we talk about ancient Buddhas and things like that, these things really didn't exist. So what is considered Buddha, which Buddha is a word that means enlightenment. So anyone can be a Buddha who has reached a state of enlightenment. So this tree was known as a tree of knowledge. Even when you talk about biblical texts, it is said that Buddha received his enlightenment under the fig tree, which the fig has tons of nutrients. And we have to understand that nutrients like iron, potassium, and even vitamin A and C, D, and E, that's information. All of that is information, and I think people don't understand that that is what information is. Information is vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, etc. So when we talk about somebody receiving nutrition or enlightenment, which is a form of nourishment for the mental body, which in turn nourishes the physical body. We're talking about information. When you don't have the right nutrients, it's hard for your body to be able to process information for you to receive more holistic perspectives or whole perspectives. And that's why the word holy is a word that means nourish, which we've already talked about, or I've talked about over the course of my journey over the past 10 years, about how that word means to be nourished. And there's many ways to nourish yourself. Through foods. Foods help to nourish the mind and the body so that we can process our reality in a more holistic manner, so that we can see things in a more rounded way. Because when we're lacking nutrients, we have issues with our nervous system. We might have issues with our circulation. Circulation is associated with the heart, and also with other glands in the body. So if we don't have a good circulatory system, blood is not pumping properly through our system for us to receive clarity, meaning that our vision and our perception may become very, very foggy. So that's why working out and movement is really good for the body, because it makes things clear and makes us be able to move with more clarity, because when you have vision that's clear, you can make beautiful movements from that point of stillness, from that point of clarity. Beautiful things can be produced. Beautiful actions can be done that have a lot of power and strength because they're coming from a clear place. So when we're talking about figs, we're talking about nourishment. It also is packed with antioxidants, and antioxidants prevents cancerous types energy, and cancer is not good. Cancer affects all levels of our health. It's a blockage, because essentially cancer usually builds like a tumor in our body that blocks things. It's a blockage, a buildup of toxic energy that sometimes can spread. So when we talk about figs, we're talking about enlightenment. And going back to what I was saying about the biblical stuff, and they said that the apple tree actually wasn't the tree of knowledge. It actually was the fig tree. So the fig tree is very sacred when it comes to knowledge. It feeds over 1,200 species of animals within the jungle, within the rainforest. So not only do we as man not only as we as man eat figs, 1,200 other species are fed from the trees, which is not like a common thing. There's some fruits and things that animals eat that man cannot eat, vice versa. So this is powerful. And then when we talk about figs are also associated with longevity. They've been used not only biblically but also Islamically in weddings as gifts, or been thrown, and raisins and figs have been thrown as wishing well wishes. So the tree is also represents wishes. I also found in Hong Kong, I found an article online that said in Hong Kong, fig trees are wishing trees. And for many years, people would come to throw oranges into their crowns. Oranges also represents wealth. And they would use it as the wishing tree. They would throw the oranges into the crowns. And if the orange was caught by one of the branches, this would be a symbol of the desires would manifest. Basically, the tree would help manifest those desires, because the tree branches of the fig were said to be connected directly to the heavens, and that the roots were grounded deep into the earth, showing the balance between both polarities, which means harmony when there's balance between both polarities, making it easier to create, because when there's harmony, there's clarity, and things can be created in their highest form. So I hope you understood that. But long story short, even in Indonesia, the fig tree is considered a wishing tree. And then also another thing that's interesting, when we go back to the weddings and how they were used, figs were given as well wishes to the couple that was being united or unified. The reason why, an interesting connection between that is that the rhinoceros hornbill, which is a bird that lives in the rainforest, actually is an animal that actually literally mates for life. And there's a deep connection between the female and the male once they're mated. When the female actually decides to nest and have her eggs, sit on her eggs, she does it in a hollow fig tree. Once she gets into the fig tree, she gets situated and she pulls her flight wings out, which is interesting. I'm not really sure why she does this. However, she's in the tree and there's like a little hole so that she can see. And basically, the fig tree stands as a protector from predators and things of that nature while she's in her nested period. Throughout this time, the male will feed her every single day, feed her and make sure that she is nourished throughout the period that she's nesting until the babies are born. So this also symbolizes longevity when it comes to relationships and also dedication, and also how the tree has been dedicated to making sure that we are nourished in many ways, because there's so many nutrients that come from the figs. It's such a nourishing tree. It's such a nourishing fruit. It's a profound fruit that has so many rains of nourishment. And the other thing that's interesting about it is that another thing that you'll see when you look up the figs is that the wasp is also connected to the fig wasp specifically is connected to the fig tree. It actually goes into the bottom of the fig, which is like a small hole, to actually nest. Well, not nest, but to lay its eggs in the fig. And the mother actually dies from doing this. The eggs actually get protected from some type of cell wall in the fig itself. And from there, the eggs are hatched, female and male. And the male eggs actually hatch first, and they drill openings for the female once the female hatches so that the female can be able to get out of the fig. And a lot of males they don't leave the fig, they stay. But they also, the female, once she's hatched, the male, once he's hatched, he goes to the female and they actually co-create more eggs, which is interesting, another topic that's really strange. So there's a lot of different things going on with these figs, because figs actually have flowers inside. And when you look at the fig, inside of a fig, it resembles, the structure of the plant resembles the female anatomy. And so that's really interesting in itself. And, you'll always hear women talk about their flowers, call their vulva their flowers. It's a sacred flower. And when we think about the fig, it's the same thing. It's inside. The flowers are inside, but also the fruit is inside. And that's where all the nutrients is. There are a lot of different species of fig plants. From my knowledge, the ones that we receive in the store are not pollinated by fig wasps. So if you're worried about eating a wasp in your fig, that actually doesn't happen. But if you are a carnivore, I don't know why you would care anyway. But anyway, moving on. So this just shows how amazing the fig tree is, how much mystery is associated with the fig. The fig has changed its DNA over trillions of times to be able to survive this long. And it is cultivated in many places when originally it was cultivated only in Asia. So it's a sign of fertility. It's a sign of wealth. It's a sign of longevity. And also in itself showing that through struggle, harsh environments even, you can create beauty, you can create nourishment in difficult times, and being able to withstand those difficult times and keep pressing on, because the tree has survived many difficult experiences in its existence on Earth. So it definitely represents longevity. So that pretty much covers it. I hope that this was helpful. This was a shorter one. Actually, it wasn't that short. It's 14 minutes. But long story short, just to recap, with figs, if you see them, if you see the word fig over and over, if you hear somebody saying fig, there has to be a repeated pattern when it comes to these symbols. It has to pull you. If you feel a pull to figs, the symbolism for you is longevity, fertility, wealth, and nourishment. Much love, much peace. Thank you for listening, and keep an eye out for those new products. Thank you.